with the push of a wand you will get close to 20 to 30 marks. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Always let me tell you, content is the king out there. But the logic will also significantly help you to score close to 20 or even say 20-25 marks extra. Each and every beat, even a doubt, explanation, the numbers, there is a purpose in which UPSC introduces you. Now, before starting the session, let me tell you something that all of you might be expecting something great, which will, with the push of a wand, you will get close to 20 to 30 marks. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, ठीक है? Always let me tell you, content is the king out there, ठीक है? But the logic will also significantly help you to score close to 20 or even say 20-25 marks extra. But always remember, content is the king. So therefore, you should be spending significant amount of your time in order to improve the content only. Okay, everyone? Okay, so let's go with the sessions. Now, as I said, content is the king. So therefore, focus more on the content. Trust more in the content. Okay? Don't trust in the logic always. If you know that some statement is factually correct, then no need to go for the content. Even if the word all is there, if you know that all will be there, then you don't have to go with the content. I mean, you don't have to go with the logic. You can go with the content only. Okay? So be it whatever, everything. Trust first of all your content, after that followed by the logic. Okay, everyone? So what are the different types of, or what are the different levels of elimination techniques? Okay, now firstly, as I said in the orientation as well, we have divided the different levels of logics into 4. Okay, so the first level 1 is something that all of you know. The question deals with can, may, all, only, all these very level 1 logics, right? Now, the difficult level, when it improves, we move to level 2. And level 2 is where we go with that option. Mostly if 2 options are identical, we go with one of them. We go with that option which are more specific, or what we call it, we go with the option which is the odd one out. We deal with database questions. We deal with when any ministry and objective is asked. And also we go with that option which deals with, we go with different types of logics when it deals with when the statement deals with steadily increasing, consistently decreasing, increasing, and all this. Now, moving on to the level, we go with level 3. This is where we do word deconstruction, right? Let's say, for example, fractional orbital bombardment system. We go with that option, which has the word fractional orbital bombardment system. All these different word deconstructions that we do. And the one more harder level would be what happens when UPSC introduces extreme words in the headings. For example, mainly in 2025, in one of the battery cathode question, UPSC have introduced the word usually. In 2025 as well, in case of a cement question, UPSC have introduced globally, cement manufacturing contributes to close to 5% carbon emission. Now, this is what we explore in the level 3. And in level 4, we go with that questions wherein you require content in order to do your elimination techniques. Okay, so these are all the different logics. Now in this class, on day class 1, we'll be only dealing with the level 1. Okay, in the 5 next classes, we'll be completing the all different other 3 levels we have. Okay. Now, first of all, let me tell you, prelims, in my opinion, is all about the game of words. Okay. Always remember, there is a purpose on why UPSC introduces each and every word out there. Okay. If the word is can, if the word is may, if the word is must, if they introduces a word primarily, significantly, mainly, all, every, not, each and every beat, even a doubt, explanation, the numbers, there is a purpose in which UPSC introduces it. Okay. Always remember, there will be close to different 3 levels, maybe 5 levels of vetting going into the UPSC paper. So each and every word carries its own importance. So that's why we as mentors always tell you that you always need to underline and circle each and every word, right? When UPSC introduces the word can, you have to circle it because there is a purpose. The word can or may will decide whether the statement will be correct or incorrect. Okay, everyone? So prelims is all about a game of words. If you understand the word gameplay, you will definitely be able to crack prelims, and that is what in this session we'll be discussing about. Okay. Now, there are basically two types of words. Okay. As all of you know, the first one is what we call it the general words. And I'll be using this term, the general words. And what are the general words? As all of you know, it is can, may, some, generally, usually, and all these different things, right? And the extreme words would be all, every, no, primarily, mainly, significantly, lethally, steadily, consistently. And I know this session might be a bit boring, but stay with me till the end for the fact that this session is going to be the foundation for all the other future lectures. Okay. Now, always remember, the statements are mostly neutral. Okay. Whatever questions that UPSC asked, if there is no fact involved in the statement, then that particular statement is neutral. Okay. But it's these words which make the statement correct or incorrect. Okay. Always remember, if there is no single fact given in the statement, then the statements should be treated as neutral. These words, such as the general words and the extreme words, makes a statement either correct or incorrect. Okay, everyone. I'll show you an example regarding the same. Now, in this question, as you can see here, the first statement says, the Supreme Court must give its opinion under the advisory jurisdiction. And the second statement says, the Supreme Court may give its opinion under the advisory jurisdiction. Now, what do you think is the difference here? What is the difference here? In the first statement, the word was must. Now, is the statement correct or incorrect? I have given the slide as well. When the word must is given, the Supreme Court must give its opinion. Now, it will be incorrect, right? Because only in terms of pre-constitutional agreements, the Supreme Court must give its opinion. In terms of contemporary matters, if the president asks UPSC ask the Supreme Court with respect to Article 143, the Supreme Court may decline, right? So therefore, the first statement is incorrect here. What about the second one? The Supreme Court may give its opinion under the advisory jurisdiction. Now, this statement is correct because the word may is used, and even in the Constitution says that the Supreme Court may give its opinion, right? Only in terms of pre-constitutional agreement, the Supreme Court must give, but in terms of contemporary affairs, the Supreme Court may give its opinion. So therefore, when the word must was replaced by the word may, the statement becomes correct, right? So this is why the words are significantly important. Always play with the words. Okay, everyone? So let's go with the first logic here. The first logic will be, now first of all, let me tell you, I won't be sharing the slides whatsoever. So feel free to make notes regarding the same. Recordings will be provided, but notes, the slides won't be provided. Okay, everyone? Now, first of all, what are general and specific statements? What are general statements? General statements are those in which facts are not provided, right? So how do we make a statement incorrect? Let's say, for example, Mahatma Gandhi was born in the state of Maharashtra, right? Now, how do we make the statement incorrect? Here, a fact is given, right? Maharashtra is the fact given here. So therefore, you try to counter the same with a better alternative. Okay. Always remember, when any fact is given in the question, you try to counter with a better alternative. And you know that Mahatma Gandhi was not born in the state of Maharashtra, he was born in the state of Gujarat. So therefore, we counter the same by a better alternative fact. So therefore, we make it incorrect. What if in that question, what if in any of the statement, no fact is given? Will you be able to counter the same? Mahatma Gandhi walks in the morning. Mahatma Gandhi eats breakfast. Now, would you be able to counter the same? No, you will not be able to counter the same, right? So always remember, general statements are those statements in which facts are not given. Since the facts are not given, there are no countering possibilities outside, because only if a fact is given, we can counter the same. So therefore, all the statements should be treated as true and positive. Okay, this is what is known as a general statements here. Now, let's say, for example, let's take a few examples here. In the 18th question, in the left-hand side, you can see here, its use cause sulfur emissions into the environment. Now, will you be able to counter the same? With reference to furnace oil, consider the following statements. Its use cause sulfur emissions into the environment. Will you be able to counter the same and say that it does not release not even 0.0001% of sulfur into the environment? Will you be able to counter the same? Anyone? No, you will not be able to counter for the fact that UPSC can never say that not even 0.1% of sulfur will not be emitted into the environment, right? So these are what is known as the general statements. There is no significant fact. There is no significant content mentioned. So therefore, you should be treating it as positive. Okay? Now, moving on to the 52nd question here, you can see here that the palm oil is a raw material for some industries producing lipstick and perfumes. Now, you can counter by saying that no, palm oil is not a significant raw material. Some others are the significant raw material out there. But can you say that palm oil is not used by even one industry in China or any of the industries in Japan to produce lipstick and perfumes? Can UPC say that? Or can UPC say that not even 0.001% of palm oil is not used by any of the industries out there? UPC can never say that, right? So this is why these statements are general. And the third one, palm oil can be used to produce biodiesel. Can UPC counter the same? Now maybe abhi to UPSC nahi use kar raha hai. Like what about in the future? Can UPC say that after 2000 years or maybe 5000 years, palm oil cannot be used to produce biodiesel? UPC can never say the same, right? This is why these are general terms and this is how you have to think. Take everyone. Now, what about this one? Which of the above spread plant diseases? Now, can UPC say that birds, dust flowing, rain, wind blowing does not even spread 0.1% of plant diseases? Can UPC say that? How can UPC prove the same? Let's say UPC have given wind blowing will not contribute to. Let's say tomorrow a research is going on and the research says wind blowing can lead to certain plant diseases. Now UPC becomes incorrect right here. So therefore UPC will never take such a chance, right? So therefore, in such statements when the 0.1% logic is possible or the 1% is possible, or in those statements in which UPC can never prove the same, use this logic. Okay. Now what about this one? Carbon monoxide, methane, ozone, and sulfur dioxide. Which of the above are released into the atmosphere due to the burning of crop and biomass residue? Can UPC say that not even 0.0001% of ozone is not released into the atmosphere? Maybe abhi UPC know that it's not possible. Lekin what if an IPCC report comes in 2026 and say that ozone is also released? Now what will UPC do? Or some other research out there, probably in USA or in Japan or even North Korea, the report says that ozone is released. Then what will happen? So that is why UPC will never take the risk, and therefore, in all these statements, all the above will be the answer here. Okay. What about this one? Fly ash can be used in the production of bricks and building construction. Can be used? Okay, fine. It can be used. Fly ash can be used as a replacement for some of the Portland cement contents. It can be used. Can UPC say that it cannot be used? Not even 0.0001 gram. It's not possible, right? So therefore, this will be correct. But what about the third statement here? Fly ash is made of silicon dioxide and calcium oxide only and does not contain any toxic elements. Now, can UPC say that it is only composed of not even 0.001%, no other element is there? Can UPC say that? UPC can never say that. Does not contain any toxic elements, not even itna zara, itna bhi. It's not possible, right? So therefore, here 1 and 2 will be the answer here, right? Now here, global warming might trigger, definitely it might trigger. Carbon sequestration is possible, it might be possible, right? Now, what is the way you have to think? First of all, you have to think in terms of three things. First of all, when any such question comes, think in terms of geographical, think in terms of quantity, and think in terms of future terms. Now, what are the extreme examples that you can think of? Now, how is it possible for UPC to say that it's not possible in North Korea? Does UPC know what's happening in North Korea? UPC never knows, right? Can UPC say that not even 0.1% of quantity is not there? 0.001%? This is also not possible. Can UPC say that in the future, maybe after 1 million years, this is not possible? No. So always think in terms of three different factors. Geographical, you can use North Korea. How can UPC say that the tribes in Amazon does not make this? How can UPC say that quantity-wise, 0.001 possibility is there? UPC can never prove the same. Future, What about 1 million years later? How can UPSC prove the same, right? So these are the three different levels in which you have to think. You have to structure your this manner. Think geographically, think in terms of future approach. Take everyone. Okay, good. Now, what should be the thought process here? All of you can comment regarding the same. With reference to green hydrogen, consider the following statements. It can be used directly as a fuel for internal combustion. It can be blended with natural gas. It can be used in the hydrogen fuel cell to run vehicles. What should be the thought process here? Hi everyone. Yeah, what should be the thought process here? It could be in the future, can be, all possibility. It's not quantity. It's not quantity. It's regarding the future possibility, right? For the fact that it can be used directly. Maybe here you can take here as directly as a general extreme word here. Okay, maybe directly it's not possible. Now, why did UPSC introduce the word directly here? Can be to make it extreme, right? It can be used as a fuel. UPSC could have just given that. It can be used as a fuel. But why did UPSC introduce the word directly? Fir be, even if the word directly is there, can you say that in the future this is not possible? It can be used directly as a fuel for internal combustion. Maybe after 1 million years, this is possible, right? It can be blended with natural gas. Maybe after 1 million years, it can be blended with natural gas. It can be used in hydrogen fuel cell to run vehicles. Maybe after 1 million years, this is possible, right? So we use a future-based approach here, and therefore we can say that all the above might be possible in the future. So therefore, all three will be the answer, right? So can UPSC say that after 1 million years, this is not possible? This will definitely be possible. Therefore, all three will be the answer here. And what about this one? What should be the logic here? Is it geography? Is it quantity? Or is it future-based approach? Monazite is a source of rare earth. Monazite contains thorium. Anyone? What should be the thought process here? Geography, quantity, it should be on the basis of quantity, right? Because can UPSC say that not even 0.1 percentage of monazite? No. Can UPSC say that monazite is not a source of rare earth? UPSC can never say that. Now, what if I ask you a different question? Laterite sand. Okay, laterite sand contains thorium. Alluvial soil contains thorium. Now, how will you treat that? Alluvial sand contains thorium. Black soil contains thorium. Red soil contains thorium. Is the statement correct or incorrect? The statement should be taken as correct, because how can UPSC say that? Not even 0.0001 percentage thorium is not there, right? Now, UPSC will never ask such a question. Now, how will UPSC then ask a question? Alluvial soil mainly contains thorium, or alluvial soil contains lethal quantities of thorium. Now, is the statement correct or incorrect? Now the statement becomes incorrect for the fact that UPSC have used an extreme word here, right? So always remember, when extreme words are not given, always go with our 1% logic. Okay, everyone? Good. Now, what will be the thought process here? Can UPSC say that not even a single gram is not there? Yes. Now, what about this one? India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuels. What should be the logic here? Is it quantity wise, geographical wise, or in the future wise? India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuel. Okay, Aryan is saying general statement. So what is the logic here? Future, quantity and future, right? That would be the right approach here, right? So the first statement pay, India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa. Now, can UPSC say that? Not even 0.001 percentage quantity is not exported. Let's say, for example, always remember, you need to always think in terms of layman terms, right? Let's say, for example, I am going to the Middle East tomorrow. And in my bag, I mean, we Keralites are basically known for the tamarind. In Kerala, we call it puli. So if I go to the Middle East tomorrow and in my luggage I carry 1 kg of tamarind, would it constitute to exports or not? And that person, 1 kg pulli, I sold it to a supermarket there. So it will contribute to export, right? So always think, you should never think in terms of all these superficial factual knowledge out there. Always try to think in terms of layman terms because that is what the UPC is expecting here. So here India exports tamarind and seeds of moringa, obviously, right? Maybe 1 gram. Seeds of moringa and tamarind can be used in the production of biofuel. Let's say you have never heard of the same, that seeds of moringa and tamarind, अरे मैंने पढ़ा तो नहीं, तो फिर क्या करना है? Should you take it incorrect? No, for the fact that future पे possible है, right? So therefore, UPC can never say that not even a single gram is not exported, and UPC can never say that even in a million years, seeds of moringa and tamarind cannot be used. Therefore, it will be used, right? So this is a 1% logic. Let me summarize. Always go with respect to geographical, quantity, and also with respect to future-based approach. Okay? Now, how does UPC go against our 1% logic? Now, how will UPC go against our 1% logic? What if in this statement, in the fourth statement here, the statement was, India exports significant quantities of tamarind and seeds of moringa. Or let's say, India is the leading exporter of tamarind and seeds of moringa. Now, how do you put it? India is the leading exporter of tamarind and seeds of moringa. So here UPC have introduced an extreme word saying India is the leading exporter, right? Or in the second statement, seeds of moringa and tamarind are the most important raw material in the production of biofuels. Or seeds of moringa and tamarind are mainly used in the production of biofuel. Now here you can say that, no, it's not seeds of moringa and tamarind. It's basically jatropha, it's basically corn, it's basically sugar canes. They are used mainly in the production of biofuel, right? So therefore, how will UPSC go against our 1% logic? How does UPC do the same? UPC will introduce extreme words. Okay. So when extreme words are introduced, always remember our 1% logic will not apply. But when extreme words are not there, our 1% logic will apply. Clear, everyone? Good. Now here, it's a general statement that we have discussed, right? Its use cause sulfur emissions to the environment. Now, how will UPC make it extreme? Now remember, this is a question in 2022. What about this statement? Can we use our 1% logic here? They might release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide into environment. Now, can we use our 1% logic here and say that they might release they might zero? How can we say our 1% logic says how can UPC say that not even 0.001% of carbon monoxide is released into the environment? This is what we can never prove, or this is what UPC can never prove. But UPC can prove that copper smelting plants does not release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide is something the copper UPC can prove it, right? Clear, everyone? Any doubts? UPC can say that copper smelting plants does not release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide. This is something that UPC can say because UPC have fact regarding the same, that they don't release lethal quantities of carbon monoxide. What is something that UPC can never prove? That they may release quantities of carbon monoxide into the environment. If the statement was this, we can go with the 0.1% logic and say that how can UPC prove the same? So therefore, in order to eliminate our 1% logic, what did UPC provide? UPC used the word lethal here. Clear? Good. So here, when any general statement is there, go with the 1% logic. But how did UPC? UPC wanted to make the first statement incorrect. So how did UPC did the same? General statements was made extreme by the introduction of the word lethal. Clear, everyone? So whenever any extreme word is given, always remember you cannot use word here. Okay. And what about this one? With reference to water credit, consider the following statements. It puts microfinance tools to work in water and sanitation sector. Is it a general statement or an extreme statement? It puts microfinance tools in the water and sanitation sector. The question talks about water credit So therefore, water is there, credit is there. Credit means providing loans, right? So therefore, are you able to counter the same? Water, credit, pay. Are you able to counter? No, you are not able to counter here, right? So therefore, the statement should be taken as general. What about this third statement here? It aims to enable poor people to meet their water needs without depending on subsidies. What about here? Is it general or specific? Okay. Is it general or specific? It's a general statement, right? So always remember, even in these objectives, UPSC likes to provide general statements and make it correct. Now, how will UPSC counter the same? UPSC will introduce any extreme word. Now, is the third statement here general or specific? The main focus of its function is to grant funds to the least developed countries and developing countries. Is it extreme or general now? Now here, the statement becomes extreme for the fact that UPSC has given the word main there. It has to be the main objective and it should not be the general objective, right? Now, why did UPSC introduce the word main? This is how you have to think. This is how you train your thought process. This is how I think. Now, why did UPSC introduce the word main here? If UPSC wanted to make it correct, then UPSC could have just given, if UPSC wanted to make it correct, then UPSC could have just given one of its function, right? UPSC could have just given one of the functions is to grant funds to the least developed countries, right? Now, why did UPSC provide the main focus of its function? Always remember like this, always think like this. Why do UPSC introduce statements like this? अरे ऐसा भी डाल सकता था ना? Now, when I make statements for the dominant prelims, this is how I think. This is how we try to make the students think, right? That is one of the reasons why in almost all our test series, we have close to 15 to 20 logical questions. As in today's discussion at 3 p.m., we'll be discussing 20 logical questions. So here, the main focus, why UPSC could have given one of the function. So that is why this would be incorrect here, and only 2 will be the answer here. Okay. Now, how did the general statement become objective? The general objective was made extreme by the introduction of the word main. Okay. Now here as well, how many of the above are the products of volcanic eruption? In both the statements, what logic can you use here? Both the statements were 2024 statements. Anyone? What can be the logic here? I should be saying quantity, quantity, quantity. So therefore, what will be the answer here? The answer here will be all 4, right? Because UPSC can never say that how many of the products are of volcanic eruption. Definitely all the 4 will be there because 0.001% will be there. Now, second one, in which of the above can the fuels be used for sustainable aviation fuel? Here also we cannot, all 4 will be the answer here. So therefore, C will be the answer with respect to the 46 question here. Okay. Now, let me ask you, what about this question? Can we use our 1% logic here? Consider the following freedom fighters: Balindra Kumar Ghosh, Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee, Rash Behari Bose. Who of the above were actively associated with Ghada party? Now, what is the extreme word here? The extreme word is actively associated, right? Now, here we cannot take an assumption that, okay, fine, Balindra Kumar Ghosh may have attended one meeting of Ghada party. Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee might have attended at least one rally of Ghada party, right? How can UPSC say that they did not hold the placard and do it? But can we use our logic here? No, because the word actively associated is used. Either they has to be the founders or either they have to be the leaders, right? And we know that Jogesh Chandra Chatterjee and Rash Behari Bose, sorry, Barindra Kumar Ghosh is not someone we have heard along with Ghada party. So therefore, Rash Behari Bose will only be the answer here. The answer will be 3 only. Now, what about the 13th question here? Which of the following has shrunk or dried up immensely in the recent past due to human activities? Aral Sea, Black Sea, Lake Baikal. What is the extreme word here? Anyone? Immensely. Good, Aditya. Immensely. Good. Immensely or dried up is the extreme word, right? Now, can UPSC say that not even Black Sea, Lake Baikal or Aral Sea have not even shrunk by at least 1%. Can UPSC say that? Itna bhi? Can UPSC say that? UPSC can never say the same, right? But UPSC can say that Black Sea and Lake Baikal has not shrunk immensely, right? They must have reduced, maybe probably 10 centimeters, 1 meters, 100 meters might have reduced. But have they shrunk immensely or dried up? No. So therefore here, since the word immensely and dried up is used, one only will be the answer. Or RLC is only the answer here. Okay. So not possible. We cannot logic. Right. So if UPSC wanted to make all the above as the answer, how would UPSC have provided the question? You can think about the same. How would we solve this here? Which of the following above have shrunk in the recent past due to human activities? Now, have shrunk means it has reduced. Now, if it has even reduced by 1 meter, we can say that it has shrunk, right? Even it has reduced by 1 meter, or let's say 10 meters, we can go with the word shrunk. So if UPSC wanted to make all the above correct, UPSC would have used the word, UPSC would have framed the question in this manner. Which of the following has shrunk in the recent past due to human activities? And therefore, all the above would have been the answer. Now, UPSC did not want to give all the above as the answer. UPSC wanted to specifically give RLC as the answer. So that is why UPSC have asked frame the statement in the following model: have shrunk immensely or dried up. So therefore, only RLC will be the answer here. Okay. What about this one? Try to find out the extreme word in this statement. Okay, I'll deal with all the questions later. Logic. Okay, now future. Now future is not the extreme word here. What is the extreme word here? It's not a general statement. It's never a general statement. Without is not the extreme word here. What is the extreme word? I'm talking about the word here, not future. Good. Near is the extreme word, right? Now, can we use our 1,000 years later or the 1 million years later logic here? Can we use the logic that, okay, fine, it can be used, let's say 1,000 years later. So how can UPSC prove the same? Can we use our logic here? No. That is why UPSC have introduced the word near here, for the fact that when the word near is introduced, we cannot go with our 1% logic and say that, no, it can happen after 5,000 years later. So how can UPSC prove the same? No. Near means probably 5 years, in probably 10 years. Now, can UPSC say that? What is this thing basically saying? It will enable us in the near future to develop a technology of transferring matter from one point to another point. So that's like saying, this power bank, I am transferring from here to my native in Kerala without transversing through physical space, without going into a package, without going into a parcel. I mean, all of you might have seen the movie Jumper, right? Jumper. A person just transport himself. I mean, in Pokemon's annual, Pokemon, I mean, the anime, you must have seen certain Pokemons transporting themselves, right? From here to here in Dragon Ball Z. But is this possible now? In the near future, possible? 5 saal pe, 10 saal pe, possible? It's not possible, right? So that is why UPSC have introduced the word near here and have made it incorrect for the fact that UPSC know it's not possible in the near future. It might take 1,000 years or 5,000 years, right? So therefore here, it will become incorrect. Now you can't use a future proof here for the fact that UPSC have introduced the word near here. Now near has to be in the coming 1 year, 5 years maybe. We cannot use our 1,000 years, 5,000 years logic here. Now, let me ask you, what if the skin had which of the above mainly spread diseases? Then what would have been the answer? Which of the above mainly spread diseases? Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, wormhole. Yeah. Which of the above mainly spread diseases? Now, then it will become very confusing, right? Because you cannot say that birds don't mainly spread plant diseases. Dust blowing Now, in my opinion, then bird may not come. Then 2, 3, 4 might be the answer, for the fact that birds, what is the relation between birds and plant diseases? Birds and plant diseases, does it have any relation? If you're able to find the relation between birds and plant diseases, then all 4 will be the answer. But if you feel that birds and plant diseases are not in relation, and UPSC have introduced the word mainly, then you can go with 2, 3, 4 as the answer here. Okay. Dust blowing will be there, rain will be there, wind blowing will be there. But if the word mainly was there and birds was used, birds UPSC have provided, then probably 2, 3, 4 would have been the answer. Now that's the significant difference that the word mainly makes. Okay, everyone? That's a significant difference that the word mainly makes. Now here we can go with the general options only. Black gram can be cultivated, yes. Probiotics helps in the digestion of sugar, yes, it's possible. Okay, you can go with the Bunsen logic. Now try this question. Mosquitoes, moth, wasp, and ants. How many of the above are pollinators? How many of the above are pollinators here? Akuli is saying all, Aditi is saying all, Jay is saying all. Good. So here, all 4 will be the answer because no extreme word is introduced, right? So UPSC can never say that not even a single mosquito has ever been a pollinator. Moth can ever be a pollinator. Wasp can ever be a pollinator, and have never been a pollinator. So always remember, whenever any extreme word is not there, go with our 1% logic.